Welcome, everyone. My name is Tony Cockamo, president of Civil CAD Learning Solutions, and also president of the DFW BIM Infrastructure User Group. It's an online user group where we share tips and tricks and host webinars. And I'm also an Autodesk Expert Elite member, author of Augie Magazine. I'm probably on several Autodesk committee. I'm also a beta tester for Autodesk on 4 different platforms. I'm also an Autodesk certified Civil 3D user, Autodesk services marketplace provider. And so I pretty much dabble in almost a lot of the civil products for Civil 3D, so for Autodesk. All right, so let's get started here. So like I said, if you have any questions, go ahead and post in the Q&A while I do the presentation, and we'll try to answer all your questions. I will say that this app that we're showing, all the different apps we're showing, is for version 2018 to 2023. So it does any version from between there. So you have a monthly subscription for our suite of apps. We don't sell it separately. We sell it as a suite. And then you have a yearly license. The yearly license, if I remember right, is $400, or you can get the suite. I think the suite is $40 a month per seat. So, all right. So let me share my screen. I'll go start. Now, I don't have time to go over every single app. I'm going to show you some of our most popular apps that our customers are using right now. One of our customers just posted the other day on the Autodesk App Store that's actually saving them days. It's not even saving them hours. It's actually saving them days with these apps, using a combination of a couple of these apps. So let me share my screen. And if you can see my screen, just give me a kind of thumbs up in the chat.
I can see it, Tony.
Okay, good. Okay, so the first ones I want to kind of go over is spot grading. So, that's something that takes a lot of time. Grading and spot grading are subdivisions, commercial or school projects. And I want to kind of go over some of our apps here. So the first one I'm going to go over for this residential kind of small subdivision is label at vertices. So what if I wanted to label all the vertices along these feature lines that represent my swells between the lots? So then the old method, I used to just spot grade manually. Wherever I wanted, I'd just go snap, 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 snap. And that takes a lot of time. I think this subdivision probably had, it was 500 spot labels. That's 500 clicks. Well, with our app, we can use the label at vertices, and it's going to ask me, okay, do you want to label through an XREF or through the space file? I'm going to select my objects, but I'm going to do a window selection. Here, I'm just doing a window selection. I can actually select the whole subdivision or just a section of the road. Hit enter. And I type in S for settings because I need to know what the default label styles needs to be. So what if I want to do like finished grade? And maybe the marker be an X. And here it's asking, do you want to label survey figures, feature lines, 2D polylines? I don't know, I don't have any alignments and parcels or splines. I'm just going to do the feature lines, 2D polylines, and 3D polylines that are being used to create this surface. I'll click OK. And then it says select the surface. I can select the surface, or I can hit enter and select it from a dialog box. I'll select my surface. And there we go. It literally labeled every vertex along that feature line, and then you can drag it out all at one time. So if the feature lines get moved, let's say you moved all the feature lines, there is an update button here, label updates, and the labels will actually update, but they actually move the label to the new location of the feature lines. So where would that be helpful? So if you do like gas, let's say gas station project, we have to label every single corner of the concrete pad, or airport projects, you're doing the joints of the concrete pads and you had to make a design change and everything shifted over. Well, these labels will automatically update once you move the 2D lines or 3D lines or even feature lines. You can hit the label update, and then the labels will actually move to the new location. Now, you do have an option for other label styles in here, so I'm going to select some and delete these. And what if I only wanted the intersection points, like points where two feature lines meet or something. So I'm going to go and use the other label style. Clear this out. And it says label at intersection. And now I'm going to just do a window selection of the whole subdivision here. Hit enter and then S for setting to select the style, label style I want to use. Notice I have several styles. Let's do finish grade again, X, and I want these 3 settings here. I'll click OK, select the surface, and there we go. Now it just labeled the point of intersections where 2 points intersect or cross each other. Now, I could save even more time by creating another maybe label style that was justified. It's already dragged out with a leader, and it'll look like that, left, like a right justified or a left justified. That's where you can get creative with your labels. So I've actually did that in one of my other drawings. I created a left justified spot label and a right justified spot label. So let's actually do the whole subdivision. If I come back here, do it again. Delete this, and this just label the whole subdivision to see how many spot labels there are for all the swells between the pads at the back of the lots, how much time that's going to save. So let's go through label at vertices. I'll select the whole subdivision. This is like a little 50 lot subdivision. Hit enter. I want my settings for the label style, and we'll do finish grade again, X, and just these items. And click OK, and it's like our surface. And there we go. So if we look at it now, if I go to select similar, and go to properties, and move over to dialog box. As you can see here, it put 1,213 label styles. I mean, that's a lot of clicks it just saved doing spot labeling. Any questions on the spot labels? Now, we do have other options in here. I'm going to come in here, select similar. If you wanted to label along the back of the property on intervals, you can do that. There is actually a label here for label at intervals. We had a client request that, and we actually update our app and put it into our suite. So we actually do updates probably every single month on our apps, tweaking our apps, to make sure it works for everybody's workflow and their templates and their styles. So I'm going to select this feature line here. And let's do our same label style. And X, and we'll just do our feature line. We'll do our 3 here. And our surface. And you see here it did it intervals. And you can set those intervals. You can set the settings and stuff. You actually have some preset label styles in here settings. So if you're doing walls, we do have a wall label. So for example, if you had 2 feature lines or grading groups, we do have a wall label right here, label wall vertices. What it does is actually creates a label style for top and bottom of wall, and they're tied to the feature lines. I don't have any walls in here. I'm gonna have to find another drawing. Probably at the end, I can show you another drawing that actually has some retaining walls, but it will label all the vertices along that retaining wall that's being used with being created with feature lines. So questions so far on our spot labeling surface app. Now, if you want to see how it works through an XREF, so some people have different workflows. Some people spot label in the base file, and then some people spot label through the sheet. So let's go do the sheet. So if I go maybe another like commercial project, and this is my grading plan sheet. It's got a base drawing, and you can see my surface. There's a surface contour here. There is a surface coming through the XREF, and I'm going to spot label this plan. So I can do the same thing. I'll do, let's say, label vertices. I'll say X for XREF, and it will ask me to select the object. I'll just zoom into this object, select the surface, but I'm going to type in S for my setting, and I'll say top of curb, 2D polyline. There's no feature, but I think it's just going to be a 2D and 3D polyline. Now, I don't have a data reference of a surface. I don't need to because it's coming through the XREF. So I'm just going to hit enter since I really can't select it, and I'll bring it in. And there we go. Actually, I may have an XREF. Oh, no, there we go. So there is no data shortcuts. As you can see here, there's no data shortcuts. And now I can just drag these out. I guess I had two of them really close to there, and move these labels out. So if the, let's say, polylines that represent this curve moves, we can hit the update button. Now the labels will automatically adjust and move to the correct locations. So here I just labeled this whole, now this is one continuous polyline around this gutter line of this curb island. I typically design one continuous. I don't create a bunch of just single line arcs and lines. I actually make one continuous line. So it does help save time if you could do that. Any questions on the spot labeling? So you can see here, I just, literally just save a lot of clicks. This right here, select similar, just this one curb island. We probably had, what, 28 spot labels. That's 28 clicks you just saved by just using that one app. And the other one was 1,200. And that's only a 50 lot subdivision. Imagine like some of my clients that have 500 to 1,200 lot subdivisions they work on, so. All right, I'm going to move on to our other apps. And let me know if I'm going too fast. I have a lot to cover, but I did provide a link on the chat where you can watch little 5-minute, 2-minute videos of each app, just to let you know. All right. Okay, so let's move on to our next one. We're going to go into our payment quantities. So I'm going to go. I don't know how many of you do payment quantities. I've done it. I've been in the industry for 25 years. I was a survey tech, civil designer, CAD manager, program manager, project manager, IT, in-house IT. I almost did it all. So did some surveying. I have some background in the military, U.S. Air Force. But anyway, when I was working on projects, we always had to do a lot of construction cost estimating, and pavement was one of those items. I got to figure out what the fire lane, parking stalls, private and public sidewalks, dumpster pads, all those different type of pavements, so that way we can give it to the client. So we did create an app. So let me see if I can find the drawing here. Here we go. So here's a good size, residential apartment development. And I got all these hatching representing different pavement hatch patterns. So fire lanes, parking aisles, the building pads, it's a different thickness, sidewalks. So what I typically did, we created an app that will look and read the hatching and create a dynamic table off those hatching, and we can apply like cost items to those. So let's go run that app. So underneath the pavement quantities, I can click it. It recognizes all the hatch. It's asking me to insert a location. And here it sees all the hatch, but I don't want to go and assign this every single time one by one. If I want to be consistent, you have a company standard for all your hatching, like, okay, your AR sand is going to be maybe private sidewalk or something. We want to have this template. So I actually exported, saved a template out. I'm going to import it in. I did this just once. Here it is. And now anything that's a dot, it's now a building slab and AR sand. So, and then I applied a thickness. I'm not following it on standards here, but I just gave some random thicknesses to the type of hatch and also a cost item. And then there's our units. You can change the units to square feet or cubic square yards or cubic yards. Okay. You can also exclude layers. So when would you exclude layers? So what if you hatch the ADA parking areas? So you may have some ADA hatching going on for ADA parking or handicap parking. You don't want that included into your pavement. It's the same thickness as your regular parking stalls. So you can check that box here to say, do not kind of exclude that hatching in there. So, so here we go. So we got square yards, cubic yards, cost items, and we can now put it into our drawing. And there we go. And then if you delete hatching, we can also hit the update button. Right here it says update. And I just saw the numbers update. Or if I come back and add a hatch, and let me match it to this other one, and then hit the update button again. Update. And I just saw this number here for this building slab update. So if you remove or if you add hatching to represent any of your pavement thicknesses, just remember to hit the update button up here. Okay. Questions? There is an edit button. We're about to release another update to the edit button. We saw one little issue, so we're going to probably release an update next week or two. So because you do have capabilities to modify the table, come in here, uncheck some of these items, and modify this. But it's very helpful if you can create a setting that the whole company can use and they can import it in. That way you're not typing that information in every single time, as long as the whole company is consistent of which hatch they're using. So you can also manually add and remove hatching too. Okay. Now there is, if the hatch doesn't close, there will be a little error button that will show up. I think it shows up somewhere at the bottom. I think we didn't have it in this drawing. And it will identify a location where the hatch didn't quite close based on the boundary. And you can zoom in and modify that area. Typically where it happens is corners of a parking lot, like right here, where it's saying, hey, this boundary that it recognized is overlapping each other at some point right here. Usually that's where it happens, is the corner of a small little curved radius. So our little app will actually identify it. You can come in, you can click on the actual hatch and remove, you can actually remove that extra PI in there or adjust this manually and then hit update, and then you won't get that error message. But usually it's always these little corners every now and then when you create this hatch, little corners like that. Just doesn't happen every single time, just every now and then you might get one based on how you created the hatch. Questions on the pavement quantity hatch. Now I have to do this all the time for commercial projects. The client's always wanting quantities of all this pavement, and then I'll take this information here and either print this out, give it to the client, or I can just copy this and maybe put it into another spreadsheet. Any questions so far?
No, there's no questions yet.
All right, so let's move on. So our next ones we want to talk about is, let's look into our parking count. So let's go back to, let's see here, this one. Okay, so I've noticed throughout the years, for 10, 20 years, that people have different symbology, different methods, how they do parking. I've seen architects draw circles in every parking stall to do parking counts. I don't know if everyone's seen this, but I mean, it's just adding more data to the drawing, unnecessary data. In Civil 3D, we took advantage of some of the features built in already, where we took the line and curve labels and then added some formulas to calculate parking stalls. And then we created a dynamic table that would read the labels for the parking. So for example, if I went to my labels and curves, we've created all these label styles that you can actually import when you buy our app. There is a import button right here that you can import all these styles that we created already. So 9 by 18, 20 by 10 by 20. We also have some angle parking also that you can import in and use and take advantage of. So now I can come in, just click on the lines. And if you have a curve, depends on the type of curve, it's inside or outside. So here, this is probably going to be an inside curve. Yep. And then this one will be outside. So I'll just switch this over here to outside. It's pushing, it's kind of the concave and convex curves. We also have double. So if you had double parking face to face, we have some double row parking here, plus the one parking aisle line labels in here. And once you labeled everything, then you can create our parking count tool. So you get the styles, you get the parking count tool, it reads all that information, and it says, do you want to select by style, or do you want to manually select it? I would say style. And here's all the styles it sees in here. I just click OK and insert the table. So I'm going to move this table over to show you. If I delete a label, let's say I delete that one. I just hit the update button and you can see it's updating. I hit another one and hit update. Or if I go and add another one, so I'll come in here, single row, and add here and here, and here, and then come back and just hit the update button. And now you can see it's updating the parking count. So that's just another thing in a site plan design. When you're doing site planning, you got to make sure that you have enough parking based on zoning. If you get involved in site plan design, I've done it several times for almost a decade, doing site plans, making sure that we have enough parking based on the zoning for that particular building or for residential apartments. But like I say, you don't need the styles. It actually comes with it. We actually provide all the styles for curb and line labels for you automatically. You can go and change the font or the size. Same thing for the table. You can change the table font also. Questions so far on the parking count? Now that's actually a nice little tool here because it is dynamic. So if I move the line or adjusted a line, it's going to update that lot line. So it's just reading the distance and calculating what it needs to be. So, and you can flip these labels. You can flip it. You can go, slide it around like a typical line label. So somebody asked me, well, what if you override this? Like, let's say this, you went in there and did an edit. So let me show you what happens. If you override one of these labels and say, this is now edit label, label text, and I put like 15 in here, just totally delete the information, put 15, and okay. Will it update the table and read that value? And I hit update, and yes, it does. So if you did manually override the actual line or curve label, it will still read that value. If I come here and delete this, hit update, you see it updating. Okay. All right, so if we don't have any questions, we'll move on to our other app. Let's say we've got pavement hatch. Now let's get into utility design. So this is one of our favorite ones, all the utility design tools we have. So if you're doing water or sewer or storm design, you can actually, in Civil 3, you can only do one at a time. You can only create one pipe network at a time. You can only create one profile at a time. So here we created this app where we can create the whole sewer network, all of them at one time. So here, for this example, I'm doing the whole sewer design for this subdivision. Now I actually going to freeze the laterals. Now you can create the laterals also. But for now, I'm not doing all the laterals. That's a lot of laterals. I'm going to freeze this laterals. Okay. And we have two systems. We have one sewer system, which is this one, and it comes up and does go like this. So this is sewer 1 network. And then this is sewer 2 pipe network. Now we have multiple alignments. We have like up to 8 sewer alignments. This app will create the pipe networks and the alignments at the same time. Okay. So I'm going to come in here, go to our apps and say, create multiple networks. And then I'm going to select an order the way I want it. So I'm going to come in here now. Now you can do a window selection if you want, but I'm kind of selecting in order for a reason. So there we go. All right. So here it recognizes the layers. And I'm going to create the network. So create pipe network at the upper right corner, SS1. Now we understand that everyone has a different naming convention. So that's why we created this dialog box. We didn't create some kind of default because people name their system differently. So, and we're going to have a SS2. Okay. I'm going to change all these at one time to a SS1 for the first one, and then I'm going to say surface, but you do have options how you want it to create this pipe network based on elevation. You can type in elevation or apply a pipe rolls. Right now, I'm say surface. I want 5 foot of cover for the sewer. I want it to follow the proposed surface that I have and also existing. The reason I have 2 is just in case the pipe goes into an existing area and we're not grading, we're going off-site. I'm doing start to end, or end to start for now. Let's see, and we're going to do sewer network. PVC 8-inch. And then we're going to have sewer manholes. We're going to have 4-foot diameter manholes. Okay. All right. Next thing I want to do is I got to make sure that these are on the right network. When you click on these, I know it's hard to tell on the screen, but it's actually highlighting. I can see here that the one I clicked was actually this one right here. We're probably going to update this where it changes the color, so it's easier to identify which one you're selecting through the network. But here it highlighted this main one. Here's that one. That's all SS1. There's that one there. There's that one, and then the last one. So this one here will be SS2, the sewer network. Okay, I just changed those 3. There we go. Now I want to create my alignments. That's the bottom sections here. Okay, I'm going to hit apply network names and create. Okay, same thing here. I see this, that's SS1. I see this is highlighted right here. So that's going to be my alignment SS2. And then 3, 4, and it's actually highlighting the plan. Now it's hard to see. 5, and that will be 6. Okay. And then my styles, what style do I want for my all my sewer alignments? So sewer and sewer labels. There we go. So now it's been about a minute. I'm going to create all these sewer main trunk lines. Now you have an option up here to apply and insert a manhole every 500 foot. So that's coming out of your engineering standards or whatever standards you're following, state or local or city or county. But here I'm going to say every 500 foot, put a manhole. Okay. I'm going to click create. And you can see it's popping up. Now you can see there's my manholes, there's my pipes. It's created every one of these. They're all created. You can see our manholes here also. And our network, so within 1 minute, we just created all our alignments and all our sewer. Now you can do this for sewer and storm. So you can actually create your storm and sewer at the same time. So we actually do that all the time. One of my clients, that's what they love about it is, hey, we're going to create our sewer, storm system, alignments, and pipes networks all at one time. Okay, so our other app is where it's going to come into play is our multiple profile app. It's another great tool where we can come in, create all our profiles at one time. So let's say profiles, multiple profiles. It sees all our alignments. I look like I may have missed one here. And it's the and I want to have a preset. I want it to be smart enough to know which profile style I'm using when I create these profile views and profile view styles. So when I go to settings, here it says, okay, anything that says SS, it's going to be sewer. This is the actual profile view style. So I have a left profile view style, it's going left to right, and I have a right profile view style going right to left. So the reason is that if your alignment is going right to left, so this profile is going to match that alignment direction, and now you have a alignment or profile view that's starting from 0 and going right to left, okay? And then so it's going to be smart enough to know, based on the direction of the alignment in your drawing, which profile to use, which profile view to use. I'm going to hit apply. So I'm going to go to the next one. And here, it read all that information. So here it says existing, there's existing profile name, the alignments, the profile view styles. Notice here that that's my PG, there's my PG also. We can also apply profile view styles if you wanted, just highlight everything and apply a profile view style. Okay, and we'll next. And then here, you can dictate how long the profiles need to be because you're going to create all these profiles. Maybe you want to set a maximum length of 900 or 1,000 based on your sheet. So is it a 22 by 34? Is it a 24 by 36? So here you're telling how far the maximum length of that profile view. Okay. And then do you want a buffer at the starting ending of your profile? I do have a buffer and I can just hit apply. And this is your grid height. You can highlight everything and change the grid height, profile view height for all of them at one time. I'm going to hit apply. And notice here, it split some of these already based on the length because they didn't, it went beyond the 1,000 foot. I can also apply a band set if I had some band set for pipes. I don't think I have anything, but we'll try this. I don't know what this one looked like. All right, so now I have all my profiles. I'll hit next. And this is where you can tie your band sets to surfaces. If I have surface in here, I can go PG, and you can tie all your band sets. I'm going to kind of fly through that right now. All right, I'll hit next. If there was existing profiles, it can come in here and tell it to ignore. I'll hit next. Now here it says, okay, we're going to have the crossing profiles if we have two pipes coming together to show the crossing. So we have crossing style. You can override the styles for networks. I'll create it, put it in here, and there you go. So you can see here, here's our profile for our sewer. Sanitary sewer SS1. Notice here it's going right to left because it's matching my alignment direction. Okay. And now you have a good starting point to start doing your design. Oop, this one kind of overlapped here. Our next update, we're probably going to try to set it up, if possible, is where we can put this on a grid, kind of like look like a cross section or sample lines, and we can put them on a grid. If that's possible, we're going to try to do that. So here, I just created all our profiles for our sewer. Okay, but now I want to label these. I don't know why I didn't do it this morning, but I'm going to move this up here. I put 2 or 3 of these on top of each other. Okay. Now I want to label all these at one time. Now you can actually use our profile network labels. So in Civil 3D, you can only label a pipe once, and you can only label the structure once. Here we can actually label the pipe 3 times. Notice here 3 times, and our structure 3 times. Now the label styles I use, they're actually tied to the top of the grid, our profile grid here, and then they're justified right to left. Okay, but we can make modifications to try to make it work for your standards for how your label styles are set up. That's why I usually recommend, we have some clients that will send us our template and we'll modify this so that way it works for your label styles also, because everybody's label styles are completely different. You know, some people are going out this way, out that way. Some people are all one label. Some people are left to right justified. It's going that direction. And then like ours is going right to left. Like I said, you would just have to coordinate with us and provide some templates, and we'll modify it, see if we can make it work for your profile label styles. Now, I've got a preset. I got some presets here. It says, okay, I got some hydraulic labels. I got a pipe label. Now it says, okay, it's going to tie to the top of the structure, the top of the grid. There's my label style. Now these are going right to left. So I got a right to left profile label, and it's tied to the bottom of the structure. Okay, so that way the label is coming out the top and the bottom. It's tied to that. All right. So now all I just got to do is add to pipe network. I'm going to just window all of these and just see. Oop, pick one and do a window. Let me try. Oh, profile view. Sorry. Select. Damn, window select. Okay, there we go. Now here, if they were all in the same network, I can label all the profiles at one time. These up here are different network, but here, oh, came off. Notice here, it just labeled all these at one time. Now I accidentally picked the wrong label styles. These are storm labels. So I'm gonna select similar and delete these. And use my sewer labels. Switch over to sewer. Right to left, up to left. Okay, and then SSS. Okay, now let's try this. Sewer labels. And there we go. Now we got my sewer labels. See how they're actually attached to the top of the grid? I just labeled all these at one time. I didn't have to go and do it, profile by profile. And so you can create one for water, sewer, storm. I use actually gravity pipe network parts for water to make it so simple. And I've actually got some labels. I haven't got a setting for it yet, but I do have in one of my drawings, a setting for water. But yeah, like you see here, if you had 50 profile, like some of my clients that have giant subdivisions, they can just come in here, select select all your profile views and label all those structures at one time. Now you are using a default structure. So some of these you'll have to swap because you might have 2 or 3 alignments coming in. Okay, so this is just whatever's the most common label style you're using. Okay, just remember that. So like sewer, you may have some very, storm, you may have some very unique labels. Like you can have a bend, you can have a wide connection, you can have a pipe size change label. So you'll have to come back and swap that label. Usually I'll try to pick the most common label in the profile and use that in my settings. Questions about labeling in the profile?
There's none right now.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, having the presets, it's going to benefit you. One of my clients was saying like, oh my goodness, because they're just knocking out profiles like crazy. Now you can do this, that create multiple profiles with street alignments. You can create all your street alignments all at one time also. So that's another thing you can do to save time, is create all your street alignments all at one time, even your alleys, build them all at one time and then start designing. Okay. Okay, so we also have a rename parts in here. It's a real simple tool where you can just highlight some pipes and networks and rename all of those at one time to one common name. In here, I can change them all. So that is a cool tool. Like some examples, some people want to click all their manholes and then just call them sewer manhole precast or something, or the manufacturing part number or something. So if you want to go back and just rename them to a standard name, you could do that with our rename parts app. Okay, so now let's go over our dry utility BIM, which is another popular one. People that do franchise utilities or any kind of dry utility design, that's talking about electrical, fiber, communications, telephone, and you're putting all that into a trench. How do you do pipe networks for all that stuff? So let me go into our utility base here. And so, for example, let's say I have this alignment. This is off the road. This is going to be in a subdivision. I'm building a franchise utilities of electrical, fiber, and gas. Okay. So if I go to my dry utility BIM, I do have my 2 surfaces and existing proposed I can follow. But I'm going to go dry utility BIM, select my alignment. It can be alignment or polyline. So in here, the first one I'm going to do is say, okay, there's my surfaces, my 2 surfaces. And then I'll say, okay, for now, let's just say I'm not following any kind of standards, but I'm just say my gas, first one is 4-foot cover. I'm going to give it a network name of G1. And then I'm going to look for my gas part list, pipe network part list, and say this is going to be a 3-inch gas. There's only one of them. I'm using a null structure. There's no parts for connecting these, all these gas lines. Then I'm going to go to level 2. So level 2, I'm going to click it, check the box. Now I'm going to say this is going to be electrical. I'm going to say E1. Electrical parts network, and I could have several of these. Okay, I can have 6, all different sizes. I'm going to pick some random sizes here. All right, and in here you can set the actual separation distance from each one. So it's starting along the center line at 0 and going 0.25 off every pipe, or you can say I'm starting at negative. You can give a negative value here to go to the left, or a negative value here to start to the left. So this is really crucial, important to understand where it's starting from, and a negative and positive for your offsets when you type that in. Okay, so let me close that up. Okay, so we got electrical. Now let's do level 3. We can do like fiber, and that's only 2 foot of cover. Okay. Yeah, we got maybe just 2 there. So I have a fiber parts if I do, and it's a 3-inch, and maybe theirs are a foot apart or something. All right. All right. So we got 3. So this app will let you do up to 36 different pipes. Now I've worked on projects where I got to 25. I was modeling the 3D pipes. It was pretty hectic. It was a giant project. And that's why we built this app. Because of all the content we were building and so many separations and trenching, it was changing. But But I can continue on and keep building more and more. But here I got, you can see the gist. I have gas, electrical, and fiber. And now I'm going to create all these parts. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and place. We'll give it a few seconds here. There we go. So now you see here, it built all my parts. So if I went to maybe isometric mode, you can see the 3D parts. Let me see if I can change the visual. Maybe I can go with the object viewer. Maybe this will look better in the object viewer. Ooh, it's hanging. There we go. So as you can see here, I'm going to zoom in a little closer. Come on. It's dragging. Oh, sorry about that. I don't know why it's hanging. Come on. Oh, I just close it before it tries to lock up on me. Oh. But as you can see, it did build all the parts at the separation distance. Let me go back to top view here. Exit. Okay, there we go. Top. So we've had clients that were doing 2 miles of conduit, so they were wanting to use this app to create all their conduit for communication. So what they wanted was, okay, can we create one big one, which is the large conduit, and have little ones inside? And yes, you can. You can build a big 4x4 conduit and then you have the little ones inside of it, within the big one. So you can do that with this app. So switch us back to. Now, maybe in the future, our next release, maybe we can, produce an update if, we can make revisions if we want to make an adjustment to all the pipes again. Right now, if you need to realign all of them, you had to recreate all the pipe networks. You couldn't, there's not a button to go and just move all 15 pipes, or what do we create? 10 pipes all at one time at the present time. So we got a request for that. Say, can we just move all of them at one time? If the alignment changed, could we move them all at one time, hit an update button? So we're looking into that right now. So questions on the pipe networks, these 3 apps right now, I think are most popular ones in combination right here when you're working together, doing all their pipe network and stuff for water, sewer, and storm. So, and then all our lot grading and stuff. Okay, I think we still got a little more time. Another app that we have, we'll talk about, let's see here, pull up an older project. This one. Now, I've had certain cities I've dealt with when I was doing design where they requested that, oh, can you show profile thickness on your utility profiles? Well, this is not inside of a road. This is just in a parking lot. So how do you apply profile thicknesses? So we created an app that you can adjust, the thickness and different multiple layers for your profile. So this is actually our profile thickness app. We can select our design surface here. And then in here, let me delete this. Here's our station value. I'm going to add our, let's try this again. Let me open this drawing because I got to read only. Oop. Which drawing is this? This is utility base. Nope. Let me reopen this one. Okay, let me try to reopen that one, which was this one, and show you the profile thickness. I think there's a couple city or two here and around the DFW area that we had to show profile thickness, like the concrete thickness. within utility profiles. So this is a small little commercial project. All right, let's go look at one of these profiles again. And there at the bottom is asking, what is that thickness? Is it 6 inches, 1 inch? Let's say 6 inches, 0.5. Okay. And here you can, dictate the station value. Do you want to go through the whole profile or start at a certain point? So here you control that station value. You can actually have, this is actually looking at profile hatching. So if I click OK, there it is. There is an update button. So if that design surface here does change, you can hit the update button. That way the surface updates and the hatching updates it with it also. Okay. So if I go back in there and go to profile thickness and say, this is 100 or something, you can see now I just basically told it where to start. I can have multiple layers. So if you wanted like concrete pavement, earthwork. So for example, come back in here to 0. Maybe have a second one here that starts at 0. I don't have another style, but I probably could create another one. Let's see here. So you can see here, I can probably create another one real quick. Go to profile view. And in here, I'll create maybe like a sub base. We'll call this sub base. Display profile. And this will be maybe like a earthwork hatch pattern. And we'll do like 5 with scale. We'll make it red so it sticks out. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's go change that. Let's do this one, sub base. There we go. So you can do something like that if you really want to. That's something, I've seen, this area. So we decided to create this app. I don't know if y'all have seen it in y'all's region, your state, or your country, since we do have clients here in different countries. But that is our profile app. You can apply it to all these design profiles or even existing surface. You want to apply some earthwork hatching, you can do that also. Questions so far on all our apps?
No, there's no current questions, Tony.
Okay. All right. We got about 10 minutes. So let's go over the Relink XREF. So the Relink XREF allows you to, let's say if you moved a whole project and you split a project and you put it in another folder, it lost all the links. You can actually relink all those files at one time. Or let's say you rename a base file and now you got 50 sheets for some that needs to be relinked. This app comes into play where I can select, for example, a folder project. And, I'll pick this one. And I'll pick the drawings. So there's all the FAD files. Okay. I'll uncheck this drawing. It'll look at all the XREF in this little dialog box. And you don't have to have any of these drawings open. You can have a completely blank drawing. So there's a lot of XREFs because I picked several drawings. A few more seconds. Because it's trying to grab the data from every single XREF. from every drawing that I selected. So I think there was about 3 extras in every drawing that I just selected. I think I selected about 10, 15 drawings. Hopefully it locked up. I think it's still looking. There we go. So in here, I can say, okay, I can type in the old drawing and say, now the new base file or new drawing is this, and it will go through and relink all those drawings, those sheet drawings with a new base file or whichever sheet you need to replace if the file got renamed. So that's what the purpose of this app is, to resync or replace attached drawings with a new drawing. So here I can find and replace. So if there's something that said 21XXX base, I can say now it's 22-500 base, and it won't even open drawing. It's going to do this all in the background. So within probably about, I would say 20 seconds, it will go through all these sheets. It won't open it. You just see it in the bottom line, just going through all the drawings, and it'll relink all those files for you. So this is actually a pretty cool little app also. So if you need to relink a lot of sheets. So one of our clients actually loves this app. They do a lot of unique things. So, all right. Okay, so let's see. We also have another app. I don't think I have any drawing open, but we just included, we typically add new apps every probably 2 to 3 months. We actually add apps to the list. I mean, we first started off, I think it was like 9 apps. Now we're about 15 apps. So every 2 or 3 months, we'll add a new app. Like this is our latest app. Here is our quarter profile app. I don't think I have a drawing for that, but let me see if I can find. So the intent of this profile, quarter profile app is for the cul-de-sacs. So when you model a cul-de-sac, you know, you actually have a feature line here that represents this baseline of this knuckle, not cul-de-sac, but knuckle. It could be a design profile also. And then you've got our main road here that has no curbing. But at this point, they tie together. The alignment, design profile with our feature line. It ties into the gutter, or let's say the ditch line here of the road. Well, what if you change the profile of this road here? Well, then, you know, this is off. So what we did is we created this update where it actually picks this feature line or design profile, and it'll relink itself back to the actual corridor. That way, these two targets are the same. So if you are using like a design profile and you have for this knuckle, okay, and you may have like a PI or something, this is a point where it connects. That's where a point connects. So that's, let's just say this is that connection, and then this is that connection. Well, you want to, if you do have a PI here, you want to lock that PI. That way, when this updates, it's going to hold that slope value you assigned. So it's really just shifting that surface up and down based on these two control points, and it's going to hold those values for you. So if you lock this point. So I got, you know, I've done a lot of subdivisions. We had, you know, a lot of knuckles, cul-de-sacs where the design profile changed, and I had to go back to each one of these and update these manually one by one. But now with this corridor profile and corridor profile update, it will now just, you know, instantly resync itself back to the corridor road. I think that's something I've been needing for years from Autodesk, and they haven't done it. So let's see, what else have we not talked about? This highlight pipe, basically what that is when you're working in split, like a split view. I think it's in split view here. Let me split my view here. And if I'm over here, I'm going to zoom in. And if I turn this on, it's on, it should highlight, let me see, the pipes. There you go. So anywhere I select the pipe on a profile, it'll select it on the plan, and it'll highlight it. So we might be probably, you know, I don't know, probably next month, if possible, updating this, it'll change the color to maybe a white. That way you can easily find it when you're zoomed out pretty far out. you can easily find which pipe you're modifying, especially when you're modifying like storm or laterals or something. Yeah, you can, when you're this far zoomed out, you'll be able to see which part or pipe you're selecting. That's all this little app does. So when you're dealing with storm systems, a bunch of little small segments, I want to know where exactly I am. So that's what that little app does, honestly. So it just turns it off and on. So. All right, I think I'll stop here. We only got 2 minutes left. Does anybody have any questions on these apps? Now, on the chat, I post a link to our website. So in here, there's 2 to 5 minute videos on how to use these apps. There are subscription based, so they're monthly or yearly subscription based. If you go to this link and go to purchase now, it will take you to the Autodesk App Store to purchase the app. You'll have to log in with your Civil 3D or your AutoCAD email account they're using for AutoCAD. Okay. Now, if you are purchasing more than 10, we are providing if you purchase 10, you get 1 free. So this works great for commercial, light industrial, school projects, highway projects. So if you're doing a big major highway, you can actually create your sewer and storm and water alignments all at one time, 2 or 3 mile stretch of it all at one time by using our create multiple pipe network and multiple profiles. Imagine creating your storm all at one time profiles and all your sewer profiles at one time and all your water profiles at one time. So those 2 apps will do that for you. I forgot how many spot labels this one had. I think it was a lot. And with that lot grading app, it literally just saves you half the clicks now. So you just move the labels to where you want it. So questions? I know I went over a lot, but definitely check out our website. Our website has short videos. We're uploading new videos, help videos, how to use the app. Like I said, it's for version 2018 to 23. And every time there's something you like included, just let us know. And if it's something really simple, we can tweak into one of our apps. We'll make it possible. We've had a couple of clients that asked for simple little things, and we were able to modify or adjust the app that would work great for their kind of workflow and templates and styles. Now, and just to let you know, we're not selling these apps individually right now. It's just a suite. It comes together. It's $40 a month or $400 a year for the whole suite. And it's not extra cost if you do get if we add another app, it's not going to be an extra cost to you. All right. If no one has any questions, we'll stop here. I appreciate everyone attending our webinar. We got a few more apps we're looking at to possibly releasing, later this year, related to profiles and other features tools. So, and I'm sorry if I went a little fast. We had a lot of apps to cover over. So, if you have any questions here, I'm going to post my email. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. You can go to our website. There's our email. If you have any questions about our app, or if you have any questions about training, our Civil CAD Learning Solutions provides training, tech support, template creation. That's a hot item right now. I'm building probably several templates a month for different companies across the United States. So I'm doing 3 right now and just finished several, last few months. So, and then we also do 3D modeling. We do custom apps. So if your company is looking for custom apps, we do custom programming. So if it is possible, we will create a perpetual app for your company. So just let us know and we'll look into it, do some coordination, and we'll create some apps. All right, guys. Well, have a great day. And thanks for joining us. And I'll talk to you later. Thanks, everyone.